Jackson Browne on the line with us. Musicforoccupy.org is the website. And Jackson Browne, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Tom. Nice to be here.
I have to tell you, you are one of a very small handful of people who have given me hours and hours and hours of not only pleasure but inspiration. Your writing is as brilliant as your performance. I don't often gush at guests. I got to tell you.
No, I appreciate it.
It's an honor to speak to you. This new album, let me just give the setup for this and then let me throw it to you. Occupy this album, a compilation of music by, for, and inspired by the Occupy Wall Street movement. All the proceeds go directly to the Occupy Wall Street movement. This includes... Well, actually, and there's going to be, for our listeners on WWRL in New York City or who are listening on Sirius or XM or whatever in the Manhattan, in the New York area, on May 8th, there'll be a release party for the album at the winery, and the City Winery, and you can get information about that at citywinery.com. But give us a take on the album. Unless you don't have the list of performers in front of you, I do, and I can go through it. But let me toss it to you, Jackson Browne.
We both can. Basically, this is an album that came out of the Occupy. The occupation is Zuccotti Park, and I actually met the guy that put this album together when I was there playing in December, right after they sort of closed the occupation down, but continued to have a presence there. So there's a hard copy of the album, which has got like a 4 CD copy, and then there's a downloaded. The rest of them are on download. So I think there are 99 artists in all that have given songs to this record and inspired by the movement and or written for it especially.
It's remarkable. Musicforoccupy.org is where you can get the information, and this includes never-before-released tracks from Annie DeFranco, Uncle, David Arman, Joan Baez, Tom Chapin, Willie Nelson, Rain Phoenix, Patti Smith, Anti-Flag, Girls Against Boys, Garland Jeffries, New Party Systems, the Mammals featuring Pete Seeger, David Crosby, and Graham Nash, Jackson Browne, the Guthrie family. It's extraordinary.
Michael Moore.
Yeah.
I just was in New York the other night. Matter of fact, we're doing a fundraiser for a film that's being made about the Koch brothers. And Mike, I conscripted him to sing with me, and then he sang the song that he did on this record, which is Times Are Changing. Fantastic.
It never occurred to me that Michael Moore could sing.
He can sing. He sings great.
Another talent. He's got to be one of the most talented people around. Extraordinary. So, Jackson Browne, give us your sense. What inspired your song on this album, and what's the message of your song?
Well, the song came together sort of naturally after playing this song that little Steven wrote called "I'm a Patriot," which has become a staple in my show. And we would always want to keep playing it because people were so pumped and so energized after hearing "I'm a Patriot," and we just keep the song going, and we just began jamming, and I began sort of singing stuff out. So I started making up verses to go to a similar groove. I mean, it was the same beat, but we just sort of converted it into an ongoing song. And I mean, during the 2008 election, we used to go into "It's your thing, do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to barack it to," but basically, we were not really sort of, something for Obama so much as just telling people, you got to do what you want to do, but, what I'm going to do. And so it sort of turned into a song which I tried to sort of address. I mean, I was sort of faced with a choice. I mean, do you start singing verses about the issues, in which case it could be a really long song. If you started writing songs verses about single-use plastic or about genetically modified food, or just about oil in general, about war, about health issues, about people's issues. It's hard to condense them, but Occupy happened, and it was easier to talk about. It was actually easy to refer to all those things by referring to Occupy. So that's how the song came to be. And I had written the first verse about a year before, and was singing that at the end of another song. But then I finished the last verse as we got ready to sing at Zuccotti Park.
When we were back in the years when George Bush was president and was and everybody was beating the drums for war, and we were pushing back very hard against that on this program. And after the war, you had come out around that time, as I recall, with Lives in the Balance, one of the I'm not sure what year it came out, but
Well, actually, that song goes back to the 80s. It actually was way before Bush, because that song initially was about our involvement in Central America, but it could have been about any number of places where the United States has conducted covert wars. So actually, I started singing it again around that same time, at the time of the Iraq War.
We started.
One of my sons said, "Look, you can start singing this song again." You know?
Yeah, he was right. I mean, we used it as a bumper from time to time. It is such a powerful. It was such a powerful statement. There's just it is so the power of music. You know, for years the brain researchers have discovered that we process music principally in the right part of our brains, the right parietal region, when we process language in the left parietal regions, Wernicke's and Broca's regions. And what music does, because it has words and music together, is it kind of creates this brain coherence.
Yeah.
Does music create a Zen state for you? Does it take you someplace that words don't?
Music can literally change the world, and by that I mean that it does it every time you listen to music. You're changing your consciousness and you're changing the world. Try it. I mean, to have no music on and put something on. You could be in a crowded place and suddenly you're listening to Aretha Franklin, and it's a completely different world.
Yeah,
it does change everything, and it's good for carrying ideas and thoughts and especially emotions. But it's not necessarily good for carrying a lot of detailed information on a particular subject, but unless the people listening already know a great deal, and then it's a really amazing way of connecting those thoughts with emotion and with feeling and with action. Really.
Right, which is what you've done so brilliantly with so many of your pieces of music. The new album is. Go ahead.
Thanks. That's a very high compliment. In truth, like I've been trying to slip a few of these songs into sets about relationships and about love and about in general for years. So it's really great to have an audience that's when an audience is gathered to talk about specific issues. These songs actually they're made for that, especially.
Yeah, and music changes the world. Music is and you're doing it. Musicforoccupy.org is the website. The album is it called Occupy This Album?
I think it's called Occupy This Album. Yeah, and I mean there are people here who's we listed some of the names. I only know about half of those, but then there's a whole other download where you get there are 99 people on this record. So I'm looking forward to listening to them all and to finding out where all these people weigh in and what kinds of contributions they're all making.
And let's emphasize one more time: all the proceeds from this go directly to the Occupy Wall Street movement.
Yeah.
And this is Yoko Ono is part of this. Kip Malone, Amanda Palmer. Just extraordinary. Yeah. There you go.
Let's tango.
So, Jackson Browne, what's next for you?
I'm just trying to write some songs I like. Actually, I've got a couple of songs, like just on the subject we were just on. I got songs that have such freighted language. I'm thinking they probably would do better as a narration, for a film. So I'm actually making a couple. I'm going to try to get films made about the two songs that I've written most recently, one of which is about single-use plastic and the ocean, the fate of the ocean. Which hangs in the balance. And I know a lot of people that have been making films about the ocean and about the problem with plastic and about conservation and protecting our oceans. And so that actually might turn out to be like the song I wrote would probably be better listened to along with the imagery that would go with it. And then there's another song I wrote about Haiti that turned into a kind of a song about our inability to deal with disasters and how unprepared our society is to handle. And of course the most ongoing disaster of humanity is that of poverty and the inability to deal with disease. So that's a song also that would go well with. Some of the people that have been to Haiti want to try to make a film of that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not in a huge hurry to try to make an album because I think it would be quicker just to go to try to make these songs and get them seen by people as opposed with the internet you can millions of people can see these things I'm thinking if it's a good new song, if it's a if it's a well-made film, that you can get a lot of people to see it before they'll see it. If you just could trying to release on an album and put it out in the commercial.
Leo DiCaprio did a movie documentary called The 11th Hour. And he's up for something like that. Earl Katz just helped put together a movie that I narrated called Heist, which is out right now in theaters.
Oh, really?
It's about the banksters, taking us down in 2008. So, but anyhow, I wish you the very best on that. And if there's ever anything that we can do to help, please let me know.
Thank you.
Jackson Browne, of course. Your website, I believe, is jacksonbrowne.com, right?
That's right.
Okay, but musicforoccupy.org.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jackson.